Hello, citizens and UEMC miners. Rockseeker here, your host, and we're back. We're right in the middle, actually almost to the end of the anniversary sale, and I'm here with Stim, and basically we'll be happy to discuss about this. So, and this time, because I'm not in 3.0 yet, but Stim is in 3.0, we cannot be together in the same virtual space, so I'm just going to play along some of the demo that we got for 3.0, so that's going to be playing in the background while we entertain you with some discussion about, for this episode, about the new concepts. And we have 3 concepts this time. So it's funny, I was talking with Stim just before. We're saying three. We got the Anvil Hawk. We've got the Aegis Hammerhead. You say Aegis? Well,
Sandy says it Aegis, but whatever floats your boat.
And the third one is the Claim Stake, which
That's
is
right.
not technically a ship, but it's a concept, right? It's something to basically have people pledge some money and basically enrich CIG to make.
It's a very controversial concept. So.
Yes, well, yes, interesting. Maybe we can start about that one and get this one out of the way. When they first announced it would be those claims, like I was thinking, okay, I got that much credits, actually a lot of credits. I was going to just buy a bunch of them. And then go to the sales process, and I get to the end, and it says, you cannot use credit for it. You have to use real cash. I said, oh, okay, well, maybe I'll think about it. Do I really want to spend like $50 or $100 per small piece of land somewhere where this is going to be readily available in game? So in the end, I figured, no, I'm just going to get that in game. It's better to get the ships first, so then you can fly somewhere. And after that, well, you can buy the stuff in game. So,
yep, I went through the same process. So I actually ended up putting $100 in the game, getting 2 $50 parcels, not for the Lord title, but in order to have a spot close to the city on Earth and a place close to the city on Terra, so that I could just easily get to the TDD and jump in my ship and start trading back and forth between the two when in the middle of the week, kind of doing that kind of stuff. And it bothered me that we had to pay for them, and I thought, wow, they could really avoid a lot of hassle from the community if they didn't make it war bond. And I ended up melting them because I used that money elsewhere, and I figure I can also get those in the game because I don't think it's going to be that much of a land grab that we're worried about. But yeah, I was watching Inforunners this morning, and one of the things that Execute was saying was that if they were to change it so that that ships. Now, I'm kind of getting into the concept of I guess I'm tying into sort of the gray market here. And one of the things that people were expecting, because they put a limit of, buy 10 on those land claims.
It was 10 of each, right?
It was 10 of each. Oh, I don't know. Maybe you could only get, I don't know if you bought 10 of one, if you could have bought more of the other. I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
But they're worried about the gray market. That was one of the things, and people going and selling a whole bunch later on. And Execute came out with a really good idea. And I know we're kind of jumping into a different subject, but he was saying that if we were to, if CIG were to change it so that when you buy a ship and it goes up in value, and you upgrade, you'd still upgrade from the amount of money you put into the game, so from your melt value, as opposed to upgrading from the increase in value. And that would reduce a lot of the investment side of buying ships, and it would just take the bottom out of the gray market.
The gray market is not a big problem, really, because in the end, you just don't buy the ship directly from CIG, but in the end, it's CIG that sells the ship, right? You buy it from the gray marketer that it turns around and use your money and makes maybe $25, $50 on it, unless it's a very limited ship and just goes and and buy it from CIG. So the pledge recognition ends up being in the account of someone else. So that's why I don't have 3.0, because I'm not above 1,000, even though I have above 1,000 in ships. I've got about 2Ks. But well, that's what it is. Eventually I'll get there, because eventually I'll just add more or sell some of the buybacks I've got or whatever.
True. But, and then it actually makes more sense, because that those people that are buying on the gray market for the investment bring money into the game sooner, into the project sooner than it otherwise would. So yeah, that works out well.
So coming back to the stakes, don't you have a Pioneer?
I've melted it. I've melted
so
it.
You no longer have it.
The anniversary sale has been great, but I have it in with buybacks.
Yeah, because so there was two stakes in it, right? There's the lot.
Just one.
I thought it was two. I thought it was one of each. One estate
just the lot, just the smaller one.
Just a smaller one.
Yeah.
Plus material to build on it. So actually,
that's right.
Actually, it's a good deal now with the Pioneer. So you get the things to build it, you get the material for an outpost, and you get the claim.
Yeah, no, you're right. The reason why I melted it wasn't because I didn't see the value. It's because if you are using a Pioneer, that is a whole career on its own. And hauling is really what I want to do. And I think if you're doing outpost construction, if you're doing base construction, that is something that you either get into an org that does that, or you're that guy that has a pickup truck that when all of your friends need to move, you're helping them move all the time. So you're building everybody else's bases.
I agree. That's because I remember one guy from the UEMC, Megan, was asking, should I go for the Hammerhead or should I go for a Pioneer? And we basically told him, like several of us, like you'll get way more gameplay out of the Hammerhead than you'll get out of the Pioneer. Yes, it's going to be fun to go the first time with this big ship and go and find a spot and start building your small outpost. And then you realized, okay, well, now it's done. So either you start building outposts for other people while they go and play and do stuff, fun, and or unless, well, basically we joke, we said, if you want to be a Bob the Builder, then then that's good. But if you prefer to go and into the live action, so you better get the Hammerhead. There's a lot more gameplay out of it, and the Hammerhead is almost the same price when we look at it, right? So
and thinking about it from an operating cost perspective as well. So you hire this crew, and I can't remember. I think it's 8 for the Pioneer. So now you have this crew of 7 or 8, and you're paying a monthly salary. So let's say you build your place in a week and you have this crew. Well, depending upon how crew work, you might not be able to translate that crew back onto other ships because maybe they're specific building crew. Their skill set is not turrets or exploration or medical. And so now you've got to let that crew go again.
So basically, to conclude on the claims, I think, there you got a beer. And I need to go get one between this one and the next shows. Forget about that. Just to conclude on this one, because I want
I've got a beer calendar.
All
December.
Okay, let's finish this one quick so I go get a beer.
So you can get a beer. Yes.
Besides, it's been like 8 minutes already. So yes. So I think we both agree that it's better to invest in ships that you like, ships that you love, whatever it is. No one is to judge what ship you get, than just going and invest in claim stakes where it's going to be relatively inexpensive in comparison to large ships. You better go off and invest in ships. So on this,
really that scarcity.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway. So we'll end on this and basically continue on the other two concepts, the Anvil Hawk and the Aegis, whatever, the Hammerhead. So see you soon, guys. Around the verse.